Heading into the last three races of 2021 Formula One season, I can say with immense faith that this has probably been the greatest season of F1 since 2013. The championship rivalry has been nothing short of marvelous, with two giants at the peak of their game, fighting tooth and nail, waiting patiently for the other to make one costly slip up. The season has turned me, just a regular, normal viewer, into a fan of the sport. With the tensions mounting sky high at the Sao Paulo GP with Verstappen's turn 47 incident and Lewis's brilliant drive with the new ICE, we cannot help but wonder where the championship is headed. Not to forget the momentum shift. So we, the Right Now Show, decided to break down the permutations and combinations required for clinching away the WDC 2021. Because guess what? There's going to be only one winner. And also, we are spoiled this season. So welcome to the Right Now Show. This is the 16th episode. And we are here with Amit, who's another enthusiast of Formula One with us. And also Abhinandan. So we are here to discuss the permutations and combinations and the future of this championship. The latest development in the championships, especially after Kota, when Verstappen held off Lewis Hamilton for like 13 laps, 14 laps, we all thought that it was kind of over. And then out of nowhere, Lewis comes and, butchers the whole Sao Paulo GP with, whatever 25 place run up to the front. So this is like so exciting. And, like the momentum has shifted. Although Verstappen says that, momentum is like nothing. It's what? It's just the engine that's doing the job for him. But definitely, like, people saw that there is kind of a momentum shift. But I would not say that like Verstappen is underconfident at this point. But there are only 3 races to go. We have Losail, and then we have Losail, that is Qatar, that is this weekend. That is followed by Yas Marina. No, that's followed by Jeddah, and that is Saudi Arabia, followed by Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina. So 3 races to go, 78 points to grab. Maximum points, that is. Who's up for grabs?
So here's the thing. Let's get one thing out of the picture. That is, one DNF for anyone is gone case. One finish outside top 10 is gone case. Outside top 5 is also still okay for Max win one of the races. Yeah, with similar or equivalent result without a podium finish for Hamilton in the same race. So anyways, but any one of them crashes, does not finish due to engine failure, any other reason, it's gone. So that is one scenario.
Provided the other doesn't crash or finish.
Yeah. So only one. Either or is the situation.
Either or scenario.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So keeping that aside, then we come to this points up for grabs wala scene, where I think because of the cushion, 14 points cushion that Max has, what he can, like you're saying, like he might not be pestered by the momentum shift and all of those things, which is true because Hamilton knows that he has to win at least 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Max knows that he has to win at least 1. So that's a lot of pressure off of him, right? 1 out of 3, he looks at it and he goes, yeah, I can do it. I've been doing it for some time this year. So, and the twist, actually the biggest twist here is not how close the points are, because that has always happened in, not always, but in many championships before it has happened, right? Championships are ended up with the difference of 1 or 2 points. And I'm not sure, but I think sometimes they have also ended in the same amount of points. Has it ever happened?
No, I don't think so that has happened. But 2007 championship was decided by 1 point, where Raikkonen won with 110 points, and Alonso and Hamilton were stuck at 109.
The great McLaren saga, right?
And even the next year, Hamilton and Massa were fighting for the championship in 2008, and I think Hamilton nicked Massa in the last lap, almost in the end corners in Interlagos itself, by like and he gained like 2 points or something, and he won that championship. So it was like Ferrari started celebrating for Massa, and then they realized, oh shit, what has happened?
Then they knew that he nicked and he almost got him out, right?
Exactly. So, but then people say that, like, although that championship of 2008 was so great, like it went down like right to the end, but there were so many mistakes from both the sides, from Massa as well as Hamilton, because Hamilton was a rookie, and Massa, I wouldn't consider him as like the greatest driver ever, but there were mistakes. But this season, it's like flawless, man. Like hardly anything.
So coming back to that, because they have the history, they have the data, they have everything built, right? They've raced on all of these tracks for many years, so they know, they understand. And someone like, before entering a track, someone like a Lewis Hamilton or a Max Verstappen can decide, okay, this is where I want to take my engine penalty, because I know what this track does for me and what I can do with that 5 gaps or 10 places penalty or whatever I get, right? So before entering a track, they can take all those decisions. But out of the 3 tracks that are left, 2 of them are brand new. No one has, F1 has never gone to that place before. People have not seen an F1 race car on the track. Maybe before Friday, people will not have seen it. So they have no data. They have all this Excel sheets and predictive analysis models and all of those things, but still it's fresh for everyone, right? The thing that you call experience is not there for anyone. So that's another twist, like that adds another element to the fight, which is how well can the driver adapt to that situation. And I feel a little bit that given the age at which Hamilton is, and given the age that Max is it, I think Max's mental capability is slightly, maybe quarter of an inch more than Hamilton's right now. I would definitely say Hamilton at Max's age was much better, for sure. But Hamilton at his current age and Max at his current age, I think there is slight amount of, and Hamilton has this habit of getting pissed a little bit over the last couple of seasons. He has started seeing, because he's not getting those wins as easily as he used to get, and Max has started getting a little bit under his skin. So maybe that will be a little bit of factor in favor of Red Bull, is what I feel. So we'll continue with the.
Although I don't know, like, if I can agree with you on Max and Hamilton, at the age of 24, they were like different or what. It's hard to tell, because like the technology was quite different back then and so many other factors. But definitely I would agree with the fact that Max has kind of reached on top of his game right now, or he's about to reach. He's on that.
He's speaking.
He's speaking. So, and the peaking actually began. It started long back, but we saw the real peaking last year's Saudi Arabia GP, which is the last race of the season.
Abu Dhabi. Sorry, not Saudi Arabia. And he won that very comfortably, and that race is still left. So it's possible that Max may do it again. But again, these circuits, it's hard to overtake in these circuits. That's what we have seen, especially the upcoming race in Qatar. There's only one long straight, and that is hardly 1 kilometer long. And I think there is like a turn 6 and turn 10 that's possibly overtaking corners. They're actually like heavy braking zones. That's all, nothing else. But there are no straights as such. So that is going to make it, it's going to make the race boring. Who knows? But the championship is definitely spicing up. So anything can happen. I think even this thing, right? When we're talking, we mentioned the point about what are the permutation and combinations, right?
Yeah.
And I think because it is the finite number of permutation and combinations is so much, right?
Yes.
You'll have to go race by race. Once Losail is over, then you can say, hey, look, okay, fine, this.
And I think, with each race, it will change.
Yeah. And I think you have outside people also, right? Say, for example, it's the last race, and then for all that you know, Bottas might just take out everyone, right? That also could be the plan. Like, if
it's possible.
So, but I think
the other circuits also, right? You mentioned about Losail. Jeddah, it's a question mark itself because they released the pictures and the videos, I think just 2-3 days back, right? And they also released on November 2nd, I think. And still, if you see this, I don't know if we can get this sometime on the screen, right? But still, the garages itself are not finished, right? And the road is kind of done, but nothing is done. And recently, I think this Michael Massey, he's just flown to Jeddah and then gone to Qatar, right? But he's told that they're actually working 24/7, and it's dead hot in Jeddah, right? Like, so, but still they're working morning, night. But it's going to go down to the wire in terms of construction itself, right? And that's the new factor.
The last word, people will be like, where is the wire? Where is the wire?
Yeah. And because the new track, right? The grip levels are going to be different, right? And Jeddah is dubbed as one of the fastest F1 circuits in the world currently, because the average speed in Jeddah is going to be around 250, right?
Oh.
So they are giving a clear, and they have fast corners. They don't have any slow corners where people just kind of brake and then it's like completely down, right? When you're talking about 250, you're talking about, oh yeah, this is the one. Yes. So this is the scene of the construction. I think they're still constructing buildings. This is like 2-3 days back. This whole thing is taken, right? So crazy. But I think Jeddah, since it has fast corners, right? And I think that's why they're saying it's advantage Mercedes. That's one. Second is there's very less runoff areas, right? So that could be a thing. If someone goes into the barriers, you never know what's going to happen, right? So fast corners is one Mercedes advantage. I think runoff area is going to be a huge factor in terms of safety car, etc. Right?
But hot track temperatures is not a Mercedes. It's a Mercedes disadvantage because this season they have been terrible at managing the tires as compared to Red Bull.
True. And also, no, the current Losail, because it's a desert, wind is going to play a lot of. It's going to play a huge role. So you don't know if wind is going to be there. That is one. But I think the final one, yes, Marina. Yeah.
The first one is actually, it's a custom built track for MotoGP. MotoGP has been happening there for 1.5 decades, right? 15 plus years. MotoGP comes there every year. And for the last 5 years, it has been happening in the night.
Yep.
So under floodlights. So the reason being because the track temperatures would get really high in the daytime. So right now, this first race that we have in Losail is, I think, 5 or 5:30 p.m. local time, which is not that, that deep into the night. So it will start pretty early. The sunset is scheduled for around 6:45. So around halfway race mark, we get the sunset. So I don't know.
I think it's 7:30, right? 7:30 IST.
That's PM. IST, that is.
IST.
Okay. You're talking about...
For them, local time.
Okay.
And the sunset is scheduled to be somewhere around like halfway through the race. Sunset will take place. So I think we'll have a mixed condition kind of a thing. And they also say that is the time where the dew starts setting in. So towards the end of because it's almost December, right? So towards the end of the race, we might start seeing dew appearing on the track, and that's another complication. So all of these things never considered before, never done before. So people, they can't actually prepare for it. It could be one of those things which comes later on YouTube's master class, but tukka maar diye nikal gaye. So, and like Abhinandan says, anyone could win there. Stop and go races, flag to flag races, anything could happen. So you would never know what happens.
You never know. Lando Norris might win Jeddah, right? For all good reason. They're good and fast. They have straight line speed. It's a high downforce circuit.
Yeah,
anyway,
possible.
So coming back to the permutations and combinations. So Max wins 1 in the other 2 races. If he comes second and third also, with the fastest lap going to Hamilton, the gap will be still 1 point and he will get the championship.
So if the first scenario is if Lewis wins all 3 races and fastest laps, so that's like he takes 78 out of 78 points. And then if Max turns runner-up for all 3, then Lewis wins by 10 points. But let's look at the exactly opposite scenario. That is this. If Max wins all 3 with fastest laps and Lewis just runner-up in all 3, Then Max will be at 410, 372. So there will be almost 38 points difference. And in the first case, it will be just 10 points difference. But what looks like a little bit more possible scenario would be, say, if Lewis wins all 3 races and Max comes second in all 3 with fastest laps. So he gets 57 points and Lewis gets 75. So basically, Lewis has to win all 3 or at least 2. So in this scenario, actually, Lewis will be like 4 points ahead of Max. Now let's look at the opposite of this. That is, Max wins all 3 races, but Lewis is runner-up in all 3 and fastest laps. Again,
Doesn't matter.
Max wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the scenario basically that people are saying, that is required for at least Lewis to win the championship. Now, if you look at something like Lewis winning 2 races and Max coming at, runner-up in those 2, and then Max winning 1. Now, that is a little, kind of a possible type of scenario. So in that case, the championship battle will still go down to the wire, but there's always advantage Verstappen here also. So essentially, here is the verdict basically. Max could end up on 58 points with a first, second 18 points, and third 15 points with third place. He can clinch the title as long as he finishes on the podium in all final 3 races, with one of those being a race winner. And Hamilton would fall 1 point short even if he scored 26 in 2 races and finished in the second and fastest lap on the track Verstappen won.
So it is the same situation that I was saying. So if Max wins 1, anyone comes second, and then second or third in the third one, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if Hamilton wins whatever is the next best position in all of those things, and he gets fastest lap in all the 3 races, he'll still lose by 1 point. And therein lies the rub, that Max knows he doesn't have to get as much out of the tracks as Lewis has to get.
Yeah.
The problem for Lewis, the good thing for Lewis is that the new engine is like crazy.
Yeah.
It's some
Okay.
F-16 fighter pilot jet, man.
I don't know what they did there. And I'm pretty sure like Red Bull will be poking FIS head again and again कि ये देखो इसको कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. ठीक है?
Yeah.
Leaving all that aside, assuming everything is good, what we have seen is that the mileage to power ratio for Mercedes this season has been not optimal. Meaning they're losing more power for the same number of mileage or same number of miles as compared to Red Bull. That's why Red Bull's engines are lasting longer basically. And hence the need for Mercedes to switch to a 5th power unit just to be able to
Got
keep
it.
up with Red Bull. So now this engine is already 1 race old, which was not an easy race. It is not in which Lewis just cruised around. Okay, Hamilton holding him for 14 laps. I'm sure Max holding Hamilton for 14 laps. Hamilton was not just sitting there, Acha, I'll get a chance, I'll go. He was trying to push every lap. He was
Every
putting
corner.
force every corner. He was like pushing that engine to the limit everywhere possible. Then come 3 circuits which are really hot, okay, really dusty, really windy. All 3 conditions which are not ideal for an engine at all. So if that comes into play, which is mileage to power ratio, if it starts coming into play, it will definitely be seen in the second and third race left, or the final race, and it will be much severe this time around. So that's another thing. So right now it looks all cherries and roses, but as you know, like it can go down to the fire, as we say. We keep using that phrase again and again, but the last race could be the one, because like you said, very difficult to overtake here in Losail International Circuit. So if track position will matter a lot, pole position in qualifying matters a lot, and with the better engine, better straight line speeds, let's say Hamilton and Bottas get 1-2 or whatever, they try to keep Max back. But Max always has that in the back of his mind that he just needs to get only so much out of his engine and the track, whereas Hamilton has to get at least twice as much.
Yeah, but I think, what something interesting that you mentioned, Amit, just now is that you said Hamilton and Bottas, right? And that's where I think Bottas's role also will come into play.
Definitely,
Right?
definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be a teamwork. It's not going now. Apart from Hamilton performing at his optimal performance levels, right? Bottas also has to do it, and also
Perez
keep
also.
in mind that
Checo.
Checo
Yeah.
also, but also keeping in mind that Bottas has nothing to lose, right? He's not going to be in Mercedes next year. He's going to go to Alpha.
But he has
right?
something to gain, which is revenge.
Yeah, he has something to gain, but his motivation also is like, why? Maybe you can tell bonuses, like people's, like employees bonuses obviously be linked to world championship if we win, etc., but there's very little motivation for him, right, to perform and then help, right?
But I will, disagree with you there, because I don't know what happened to him last race. He was like hyper motivated. He slowed down so much for letting Hamilton go ahead. Like, I never seen Bottas do that shit. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
so I don't know what they offered him or what, but he certainly looks motivated to me.
But one more interesting thing is from the last years, right? From the last year, the Yes Marina circuit layout in 3 of those corners has been changed, right? So, in Yes Marina is like one of the damn squid circuits where it's like the most boring race. People will sleep literally watching those races, right? I think
because of no overtaking possibility.
Yeah.
yeah. I think in 2010, I think Alonso was behind, like for the majority of the second part, he was behind some stupid Renault, right? I think
Vitaly Petrov.
Yeah. So
basically, that season was so crazy that there were 4 championship contenders at the end of at the start of last race, and the least, thought of person was Sebastian Vettel among all 4. Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Everyone thought it's going to be Alonso or Weber, but he had to just make like couple of overtakes, and he was stuck behind Vitaly Petrov for like 40 laps, and that's it. His thing was over. Alonso went after race next to him. There's a clip, where he's like shouting from his cockpit. He's like, "What the hell, man? You cost me with my championship," and all that.
Yeah, but you know what? The recent those 3 those 3 corners, right? They made it more flowing. So they've just made it more flowing, so people can carry more speed into the corner and probably carry different lines, right? Different racing lines, such a way that they can go and overtake probably in the next like a braking zone or stuff. But it's going to be interesting because now suddenly they don't know. And when you're talking about like more curves, right? You're talking about different tire also, right? So because it's going to carry more load on the tire.
Yeah, that's one thing. I forgot to mention about the Qatar circuit, Losail one. The thing is, it is left side heavy. So at the end of the race, in a car, the left 2 tires will have deteriorated much more than right 2 tires because of the friction and how it turns in the lefts more. Okay, so what happens in a MotoGP, like I said, it's built for motor. Actually, racetracks are not supposed to be imbalanced like that, because having 2 tires the car will go like this basically, which is very dangerous. However, it's built for a MotoGP track, and in MotoGP, what happens is they have something called as mixed compound, in which half the tire is hard, other half is medium.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, same here.
So what happens is when the deterioration starts on one side, because it's a harder compound on that side, it will resist for longer. So by the end of the race, they're equal basically, and they don't lose grip. But in F1, they don't have that concept, and that is one interesting thing. No one knows what is going to happen here towards, and also more so because an F1 car carries more weight and more speed through the curves than a MotoGP bike. MotoGP bike is only faster in the acceleration points. That's all. So it will shoot faster off the line, but lap times are much higher, like 150 to almost 2 minutes for a MotoGP bike. So an F1 car is almost 30 seconds faster, which is like so much more pressure on the fields.
Yeah.
So much G-force. And actually, like people are saying that, hey, last 3 races are so boring. Like the most exciting race was at Brazil. But Red Bull owner Helmut Marko, he said that, guess what? Just look back and see most boring races this year were only most interesting. Like France and all. No one expected France to be
Sochi.
that exciting. Sochi, yeah.
Monaco
Sochi
also,
to rain. Monaco also to some extent.
Because
like,
that puncture and all.
Valtteri's nut and all. Okay, I mean Valtteri's car's nut.
I think you saw
salty
the
jokes they are making.
Yeah, you saw the Netflix episode of Valtteri. I think that's how you made that joke.
Yeah, I think any race where apart from Hambot, where people come off on the podium, it becomes naturally exciting. I think for people, that's what happened in Baku also, right? So yeah, so that was our analysis of the remaining F1 season. And
people who are watching this episode will be like, "Arey bataya nahi jeetega kaun?"
I was actually going to ask. Let's put our predictions.
Yeah, we should have like, we can't have. Okay, we have told our analysis and all that, but we 3 should have our predictions. Okay,
yeah. One prediction and then one craziest thing that can happen in these 3 races. Those 2 things. Okay. Let's take turns.
So prediction is basically what I want to happen. Okay. What ideally I would like to happen. So Verstappen will win either the first or the second of the remaining 3, and he'll win the championship by 1 or 2 points because Hamilton will push like crazy. And I think it'll mark the beginning of the end of Hamilton's era, because next year George Russell comes in, he will not be as cooperative as Bottas or whatever. Crazy thing happening is somebody will go off track in the first race only and take out first 4 people. Because that first turn is very hard in Qatar.
It's like also, this octopus type, no, amoeba kind of track it is.
In MotoGP also, highest crashes happen in that, and that is the turn which has the largest amount of runoff area. So bikes only cover up that much area. You think about cars.
So is there a gravel trap or it's just a runoff area?
It's a mix. No, that area is not gravel. It's cemented.
Okay, it's a runoff basically.
Yeah.
So Hamilton and Verstappen will go further some more. That's it.
U-turn leke
yeah, they just change the the ways of racing, man. Like no fucking action from FIA also. So
yeah.
Anyway, let's see. Should have been investigated now. Okay,
What's
cool.
yours? Abhinav Gurti.
So my prediction is that the momentum that Lewis had in Brazil, that will carry on and he'll win the next race. But in the subsequent races, in the second race is going to be like a little crazy one, which is
like the 19th over in the T20 match.
Yeah, maybe like that. And then final one, I think it's advantage Max. So Max will win the championship. That's what I feel. But it's going to be a close one where Lewis will win at least one of them. So basically, that's the first one. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something crazy, I feel there is a chance that someone like a Leclerc or Norris may win a GP. Like there is a chance. I'm just guessing because
podium or victory?
Victory, I'm saying. Podium it's possible, but I'm just saying victory. But yeah. See, if you want to ask me, like I'll definitely say that if Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, and Kimi Raikkonen are on podium, that will be like dream for me. But that's not
10 people have to crash out for breakfast.
I think
because like they're like legends of the sport.
The first turn you said no, everyone will go and they'll be like Haas will come in like podium guy like
Nikita Mazepin. खुद को लैप कर लेगा वो.
हाँ, he'll come fourth in a race of 4.
Yeah. Abhinandan,
cool. Abhinandan, yours.
I think Max will win the championship comfortably. But I think Mercedes might somehow pull off the constructors. That's my prediction, right? And the crazy thing that might happen is, I think in Jeddah, I think Norris might come on the podium, maybe. Not
What
win
is
the
with
race.
what is with you and Jeddah and Norris? Like, क्या combination मेरे को समझ नहीं आता.
I don't know. I'm just putting like a random guess. That's the crazy thing that can happen. The craziest thing that can happen is, you never know. Like, they might just take out each other almost 2 times, or it might stewards might decide. It might be decided. Obviously, stewards will screw every race, so something might happen off track, and they'll say, "Oh, this car is not legal. That car is not legal," and then.
But I don't want all that to happen. I want to see like a result come out of actual racing.
Yeah.
I want to see the fight. As they both crash off like and go away and all that.
Yeah.
Like
And when
Prost and Senna type.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And when they'll be on the weighing bridge, like Max will, that time, like how he pushed Ocon, like he'll push Hamilton like that.
To touch his car only, I had to pay 50,000 euros. If he touches that person only, to sign next year's whole contract and give it away.
So that was the episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to Amit as well. His channel is linked below. And for the shorter versions of Right Now Show, we have Abhinandan's channel, which is also linked below. And let us know in the comments what is your prediction. Please let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know your prediction. Who's going to win the championship and who's going to win the constructors.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.